Hello and welcome to Almost 30 Podcast. My name is Krista Williams, and I am so glad you're here. My sisters, my family, the crew, my cosmic loves, my sisters in Christ, if you like that, if that's okay with you, my little doves. I'm really excited about this episode. We're going to be talking about a concept that I've never talked about before in one of the pillars of my teaching in the Metamorphosis Method. So the Metamorphosis Method is my body transformation program that I'm going to be teaching in January. It's a psycho-spiritual, energetic, but also tactical guide to transforming your body, but also accepting and liberating yourself from body hate and shame. So yes, you can both transform your body and love your body. It is my entire process of transforming my body literally in the craziest way in the past 2 years into something I love and feel liberated and free in and sexy in and all those good things. So it's actually possible. And we teach this in Metamorphosis. So that's launching again in January. We have the psycho-spiritual teachings that I do with you in community. And then we also have the tactical support from Joy Wellness. So they're going to be doing blood work and peptides and all of that cool stuff. So you have both of those aspects. So first, let's, say the hellos for the Almost 30 family. So OG, Almost 30, I love you guys so much. Thank you for rocking with us on the book tour and the book. The book is now out if you do not have it. I would get the audiobook. It's read by Lindsay and I, and it was my favorite thing to do was read the audiobook. I was fully locked and loaded. I was like in my actor era. I was like, yeah. And then I met Lindsay. And when I was doing the reading, I was fully turned on, fully in my actress era, and so was Lindsay, and we just had the best time. So get the audiobook if you haven't already. I would love for you guys to read the book. It's just been so well received. I'm so proud of it. I'm really hard on myself, and I freaking love the book. And we have 800 plus episodes. We've been doing this for a while. We're OGs in the space. I do it with my best friend, Lindsay, who lives in Brooklyn. I live in LA. She'll record in Brooklyn. I'll record in LA. We'll come together to record quite often, but I love to do solo episodes. So solo episodes are just my teachings, my methodologies, things that have impacted me, things that I've gone through, whether it's divorce, dating, body, friendships, spirituality. Like I just kind of like to bring through what's going on with me, what I'm working through, what I'm growing through in hopes to teach and support you in your process. Because what I've known and found is that we're all sort of in this collective consciousness together in this experience in life. So today's episode is around body and weight, and especially relates to people that are empaths or highly sensitives. If you guys join Almost 30 regularly, you know that I talk quite a bit about being an empath and someone that's highly sensitive and someone that sort of has this unique experience in the world. I know there's a lot of judgment and criticism about the word empath, and I totally get it. I think for me, for a long time, I was in denial about being an empath. And then I would kind of clock myself. I'd be like, she's crying, so I'm crying. I'm stressed out because they're stressed out. I'm feeling the lights in this room deeply in my soul. I can't have music playing in the background it was almost like just the sensory experience of life was so much and the emotional experience of life was so much. And I was always sort of in the energetic experience versus like the physical reality experience. And once I actually claimed and understood that being an empath was actually a part of the gifts I could bring to the world, everything changed. And a lot of what I teach is really helping people have better energetic hygiene, have better relationships with their own energy and their own selves, capital S self, from the IFS perspective or the Jungian perspective, and really get into clear relationship with their own energetic experience, their own, spiritual experience, so that they can be in better relationship to the world. And I do that at my retreats all over the world or my coaching one-on-one. And it's just such an important part of our process, especially as women, because so many women that I work with are deep feelers and are people that take on for the world and are people that are healers or teachers or facilitators. And that means you are going to be having a unique experience where you are using your gifts for service. You are using your love for service. You are using your tenderness for service, your compassion for service. These beautiful elements of you that make you are now a part of how you serve the world. So I wanted to do an episode talking about one of the pillars of the Metamorphosis Method, which is being an empath and being someone that's highly sensitive, because I feel like so many of you resonate with the empath content. And even if you don't, I think as a human being on earth, you can relate to some of these things that I'm going to be talking about. So to first define highly sensitive people and empaths in just more accessible language, HSPs have a heightened nervous system reactivity and process sensory input more deeply. Empaths absorb the energetic and emotional states around them. Again, these are just what happens. And when we kind of figure out how to be in our power with it, that's not our goal, but that's what's happening. There's physical consequences to this experience. So they're more prone to nervous system overload. There's a lot of research that talks about this. If you are an HSP or someone that's considered an empath, you will have a more sensitive nervous system. And now there's so much research coming out about the nervous system where we know and can understand that the nervous system deeply impacts our weight and deeply impacts our body composition and how we relate to our body. So if you are someone that is more sensitive or can be more sensitive to nervous system overload, you are going to have to be even more mindful and you will be even more impacted by things because of the fact you're a highly sensitive person and an empath. So you're more likely to experience stress hormone spikes because of this, like cortisol, which can impact weight retention. If you've been around the weight loss, the dieting game, like me, a veteran of the space, let me tell you, I've been on a diet since I knew what a diet was. You guys know about cortisol. I never forget, I think I was in college when I started taking this diet pill called Corticut. It was CORTI, Corticut. I think I want to just take a half hour of my life, just keep saying the word Corticut, 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 Corticut. It's because it's almost like corgi, like a corgi dog, Corticut. Say Corticut 3 times. Corticut, Corticut, Corticut. So this Corticut supplement was cutting my cortisol down, which I didn't really understand how hormones interact with one another. I was just like, I got to get rid of my cortisol. I don't want my cortisol to be in existence. So I started taking this pill. But if you don't know, cortisol is directly related and correlated to abdominal fat. The higher the cortisol or the more irregular or off the cortisol is, the more weight we can tend to hold. So being mindful of our cortisol directly relates to weight in our body. So being mindful of our cortisol is very important if we want to have good body composition and feel good in our body. Couching all of this conversation in the goal for all of us to feel good in our bodies, to feel sovereign in our bodies, to feel free in our bodies, to feel beautiful in our bodies, and to feel liberated in our bodies as well. And my goal is to give you information and help you understand how your body uniquely engages with weight as someone that's an empath, as someone that's sensitive, so that you can be better equipped to be in right relationship with your body, and so that you can liberate yourself from feeling like you need to blame your body, shame your body, change your body, do all this stuff because your body as a sensitive tuning fork to the world is just trying to do right by you. When you can really use your sensitivity and the energy experience in your body for your greatest good, for pleasure, for intimacy, for heightened experiences in life, for enjoying food more, for enjoying life more, everything's amazing. But until then, we're kind of using our body in a way that's sort of fighting with it. So there's a few reasons why being someone that's highly sensitive can lead to holding on to extra weight. And the first is the body as protection. So our body is essentially a protective mechanism. So extra weight can be an unconscious shield to buffer between a highly sensitive person and the overwhelming world. So an example of this is after a heartbreak or a job burnout or a major life shift, the body pads itself to feel safe. This was 100% my experience in a previous relationship where I did not feel safe. I did not feel protected. I did not feel okay. And so my body I was subconsciously telling myself, I'm not safe. This is not okay. I'm not safe. This is not okay. So my body so sweetly responded to me and said, I know how to make us safe. We will pad and hold on to extra weight. I remember when I first, started working out in the corporate world, as a highly sensitive person, you're going into a place and space, you don't really feel safe, you don't really feel comfortable, all the lights, all the sounds, all the textures, all the blah, blah. My body was like, I'm going to hold on to extra weight because I don't really feel safe in this place. So if you are going through an experience where you don't feel safe in the world and you don't feel like you're protected and you don't feel like you have this ability to choose for yourself or have boundaries, your body will create a protective shield with the weight. And I see this happening with so many women, all the time when I work with women, especially when I see them in retreats. They'll have this experience where they don't feel safe. They don't feel like they can say no. They don't feel like they have boundaries. And their body is trying to create safety, a saying of no, and a boundary with the extra weight. And when you can come into true safety with yourself, a relaxed feeling, and an ability to say energetically, spiritually, physically, emotionally, no, your body will no longer feel like it needs to protect itself. And this has been so much of my process of coming into my true liberation with my body is like, hey, body, you actually don't need to keep weight to feel safe. You actually are safe in this now moment in whatever size you are, and the extra protection is no longer needed. I do not need to subconsciously or physically protect myself because I say no. I am clear. I am aware. I am conscious. I am in choice. When you come into your energetic and spiritual sovereignty, you no longer need the body to unconsciously try and create sovereignty. So the second reason why sensitivity can lead to holding on to weight. I mentioned this before, but the cortisol connection. So highly sensitive people and empaths and lots of women in general are really easily stressed. So this means more frequent activation of the fight, flight, or freeze. And this elevated cortisol over time can encourage fat storage, particularly around the belly. So when you become more easily agitated and stressed, and if you've been around highly sensitive people or empaths, I love you guys so much, but I have a friend as an example. You walk into a room, she's like, oh my God, is there perfume in here? Can you turn down the lights? Is there any way we could turn this music off? Oh, what is that smell? I mean, my sister, it is like sensory warfare for her everywhere we go because she's so sensitive. And that fear of things on the outside determining how she is creates this experience of being stressed. I'm going to walk into a room. Oh my God, I'm stressed. The sounds, the lights, the textures, the people, da, 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 da. Even if you're a highly sensitive person or an empath and you go to a party, you go to work, you go to meet new people, you go to a coffee shop, you have an easily activated nervous system. You're also picking up on energy. And so that would create you to be more stressed, especially if you're around people that are stressed. If you're around people that are unconscious, you are going to then be more stressed. If you're an empath that absorbs the emotional and energetic states of people around you, your body is absorbing the emotional and energetic states of people that you probably don't want to. There's very few people in the world that I want to absorb their energetic states, and all of them are my friends. But you don't want to be going out into the world absorbing people's stress, their emotions, their anxiety, because then your body is going to be creating cortisol and creating a fight or flight sensation in your body because you're absorbing everyone else's experience. Your nervous system being overloaded too also increases your cortisol, which tells your body to hold on to weight. So how do we support ourselves in this? This is done by nervous system regulation. This is done by breath work. This is done by grounding on the earth. This is done by slowing things down. This is done by emotional mastery. This is done by attunement to self and God, not others, and conscious awareness of the patterns that you're in. I'll share more about that later. So the third of 6 reasons why your sensitivity could cause you to hold on to weight. The third is nervous system burnout. If you have chronic overstimulation, if you're chronically overstimulated by your phone, by media, by your relationships, by your environment, by the city that you live in, this will create chronic fatigue. This is the burnout feeling that so many people have. So many women are burnt out because of chronic overstimulation, and they're burnt out, they're exhausted, they're tired, they have to try and motivate themselves to do the simplest of things. And this actually creates less energy for movement and healthy regulation. The body goes into conservation mode and it holds on to weight for survival. You being burnt out at a tilt, rushing around, stressed all the time. Oh my God, I got to get this done. I got to do this for this person. I got to answer this email. I've got to work all the time. Da, 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 da. Leads to you being fatigued and tired, means that you actually are using all of that energy for the fluttering and the craze and the overstimulation, and not for healthy regulation, not for healthy movement, not for healthy flow of energy throughout your day. And so this conservation mode is the survival mode that your body holds onto fat. I'm stressed, I'm in fight or flight, I don't know when I'm gonna get my next meal, I don't know what's going on, we're running from the bear, we're running from the tiger, we're running from all these things, and I gotta hold on to weight. And this happens with normal people. But when you're very sensitive and you're especially a feminine being, this is going to be so, so much more intense. Number 4 is absorbing people's energy. So because empaths are taking on others' emotions without realizing it, this unprocessed emotional energy can manifest physically. So the body becomes a container for what we don't release. Oh my gosh, you guys. The body becomes a container for what we don't release. I was a container for so many people. That sounds really gross, like that's what she said vibes, but I just was holding on to other people's energy, stress, emotions, thought, and feelings. I was psychically attuning to them and then holding on to it, processing it myself unconsciously. A lot of empaths are unconsciously processing other people's emotions. The way I got safety and loved in my household was by processing unconsciously everyone else's emotions, by trying to be there for them, by trying to be happy for them, by trying to perform for them. And I was holding on to other people's feelings, and that can manifest physically in the body. That will manifest physically in the body. If you have this thought all the time of like, I'm stressed, I'm, sad, I'm anxious, your body is listening and your body is going to manifest all of that physically. And you need to be in the process of thought, feeling, emotion, release. I just made that up. Thought, feeling, emotion, release. You need to be in the cyclical energy. We do not want things to be thought, feeling, emotion stuck in the body. That means energy, just if we think from an energetic perspective, energy is stuck in the body. We don't want energy to be stuck in the body. Fat is essentially energy stuck in the body. It's just cells holding on to energy, stuck energy. So the more we can be in relationship to release, the healthier and the better things are. So number 5, self-soothing and grounding through food. Oh my God, let me just put my notes down. Let me just fix my hair. Let me just sit up straight for this one. So this is, I think, one of the most important and something that I've seen in myself throughout my life and my process. So this happens so much with people that are sensitive and empaths and people that are codependent or have insecure attachment. From a young age, my experience, because I did not have secure attachment, because I did not have attunement or regulation, I needed to find it somewhere. And a beautiful place to find it is food. Food is an amazing regulation tool, gives me that dopamine, gives me that hit. Food is always there for me. Food is my friend. Food is my comfort. Food gives me all the mind drugs that I need, gives me all the support that I need, is always there for me, which is crazy because now that's ChatGPT for people, but that's a whole different fucking side story. But food is a beautiful space that people use for comfort. So especially when I'm an empath that's feeling more than other people, experiencing life more deeply than other people, I need food to cope, man. I'm like, dude, life is overwhelming. I'm stressed. I'm sad. I don't know if I'm sad or they're sad or she's sad or he's sad. I don't know if he's mad or she's sad or I'm sad. I don't know what's going on, but I need food to cope. I need food to regulate. Sensitive people unconsciously use food to regulate, to cope, and to numb. Our relationship with food sets the ground for our relationship with life. If you're controlling your food, you're controlling life. If you're not nourishing yourself with food, you're not nourishing yourself in life. This is a side tangent, but as an example, there's a woman that I know, love her, amazing woman, beautiful, da-da-da-da. I do not want her in my orbit, and this sounds judgmental, but it's just my preference. She has a really, really bad eating disorder. And it's not because I'm in judgment of the eating disorder, but it's like if you are restricting your food, your calories, your enjoyment, your pleasure, your experience, you are restricting in so many other areas of life. I can't relate. I can't relate to you. You are just dampening and deadening your life force energy. You are saying to the world, you are not worthy of life force energy to move through you. I can't relate. I can't relate to anymore. You guys know I've been on my path. That feeling and experience. And when you are someone that is sensitive and overfeeling, the relationship with food, of stuffing, of managing, of, just comfort is so real. And I think when I started to be in true relationship with my feelings, and this is how you solve this issue, you have to commit to feeling your feelings. And so much of the Metamorphosis program and method, not so much, but a lot of it is talking about the relationship we have to feelings is related to the relationship we have with food. If I'm sad and I don't want to feel sad, I can use food to cope. Sometimes people use social media. Sometimes people use love. Sometimes people use shopping. For a lot of us, we use food. It's a very safe one. It's accepted. We eat 3 times a day. So this stuffing and this managing and this like denial of feelings is what I used food for. And after my divorce, when I committed to feeling my feelings, when I learned through the process of the darkness retreat how to feel my feelings, when I taught myself, I went to the depths of my emotions, the depths, the bottom of the Mariana Trench of Krista Williams' feelings and emotions. And I said, I'm going all the way in. And I learned how to be with and feel my emotions and feel my full process. And I committed to feeling my feelings. That was when I realized I didn't need to use food. I didn't need to use food to dampen and deaden my life and not feel how I feel. So now, if a feeling, emotion, a thought comes up, I let it rock, I let it ride, I let it move through me. Or sometimes I will, because I'm in self a lot from a parts perspective, I'll also see it and I'll say, okay, do I have time for that thought, feeling, or emotion in this moment? If I'm in an interview or I'm talking to someone, in this moment, I don't. I promise and commit to feeling that later in its fullness. And I have to show up for myself. I have to keep that self-trust and show up for myself to feel the fullness of that emotion and that experience. So I'm committing to feeling my feelings. If you want to lose weight, if you want to lose weight, commit to feeling your feelings and you will 100% lose weight. I guarantee it. I know it's scary and I know so many people don't know how to feel their feelings or don't understand what that means. But if you can do that, work with a therapist, understand, learn to be with the parts of you that are emotional, allow them to feel, allow yourself to express, emote, to be messy, to be chaotic, and feel your feelings, your body will change 100%. I can guarantee you. This is such an unlock for our body and weight conversation, especially when we're women, especially when we're empaths, is having a better relationship to our feelings. So comfort eating is a way to create weight and grounding in a world that feels unsteady for people that are sensitive. I spent most of my life completely disembodied, out of my body, maybe in my head sometimes. Otherwise, I didn't even know I had legs. I would look down on my body and be like, whoa, this is a body? That's mine? Oh my God. And so food was almost to pull me back to earth, to ground me to earth. So comfort eating was a way to avoid feelings and create weight, to ground myself in a world that feels unsteady. So number 6, the emotional and spiritual layers. So weight as a boundary. For some, it's a way to keep people at a literal and energetic distance. So what do I mean by that? Weight could be a root chakra grounding. So sometimes the body unconsciously roots itself through heaviness to feel safe. So sometimes the body will hold on to weight to root itself, to pull back down to earth, kind of like what I was talking about before, through heaviness to feel safe. So if we feel disembodied, out of our body, energetically all over the place, fractured, like half of your spirit is on Mars and half of your spirit is in the astral and you don't even know where anything is, your body will try and use the weightiness to get into the body because it doesn't know how. It's requiring you to energetically source and come back in to the body, to ground. And it's like, I can help you. Let's add some weight to that because the weight might hold you down. When we can get into our body energetically, we can do that ourselves outside of having the body need to use weight. Also, too, there is a generational and ancestral trauma that's stored in the body. So HSPs and empaths can carry the emotional weight of their lineage. In the Metamorphosis program, I work with Michelle Shapiro. She's a registered dietitian. She has a really powerful practice. She actually works a lot with HSPs. And we talked about ancestral trauma in one of the workshops that we did specifically, and how this can deeply impact your ability to lose weight. And that's going to be in the program again in January, kind of a deep dive on that. But just understanding that your ancestral lineage and your trauma, the trauma that you're storing and holding in your body, for safety, for protection, for comfort, can be impacting your weight. So how do we release the emotional and physical weight? First, Metamorphosis, join the program in January. This is a plug, obviously, y'all, like plug, but it's really like the most powerful groundbreaking program I've ever done. And it changed my body and my life in a way I never thought was possible. let me just lay this as the thing to say, and then I'll share these tips. But if you would have told me 2-3 years ago that I would love my body, I would feel free in my body, I would feel beautiful and at peace, I would have never believed you. I thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life at war with my body, hating my body, never satisfied, never enoughness with my body, counting my calories, counting my macros. I would have been like, shut up, you're annoying. And now, by using the steps in the Metamorphosis Method, which I've learned over the years in practice, working with a therapist that specializes in trauma, that's by working with a therapist who specializes in eating disorders. She's reviewed and approved the program, by working with powerful teachers and dietitians, by my own spiritual practices, by bringing women together in community. You absolutely can transform your body and also love it. That was my process. I actually started to love my body. It transformed. And then we've been in this beautiful spiral of collaboration, of transformation of love, of transformation of love. And it's just the best. Like, I want you to feel liberated in the mind games and the self-hate and the torture that you put yourself through in your body. And I think Metamorphosis is really the journey to coming free from that. So the first step that I'll share in here, and there's, I'd say, more of the psycho-spiritual and the tactical in the program, but the first thing is nervous system regulation is going to really help you as a highly sensitive HSP. So that's breath work, that's EFT tapping, that's somatic movement. I love doing EFT tapping. I love Brad Yates. I love Gala Darling. Those are really, really great practices. I EFT tap on my own as well, but I think really figuring out the best method for nervous system regulation for you and doing it at least once a day is powerful. I, will spend, after every podcast interview, almost every meeting with someone every day, discarding energy, sending it back, returning it to sender, EFT tapping, and just getting in my body through breath work. So nervous system regulation is going to help you feel better and more at peace in your body, and also help you to be in a body that you love. The second is energetic hygiene. So if you guys want, I can do like a full series on energetic hygiene, a full breakdown. And a lot of what I work with women in one-on-one and retreats is about energetic hygiene. And this is more nuanced. This is more kind of things done in the moment, because there's just so much nuance with it. But clearing practices are really helpful, whether it's a grounding meditation. If you want to do cord cutting, I like cord dissolving, but I like to return energy to sender. I like to not consent to taking on any energy that is my own. But really simple affirmations about energetic hygiene are powerful. So for me, as an example, if someone's having a deep emotional experience, I will say, I do not consent to taking on any energy, thought forms, entities, beings, frequencies that are not my own. I consent to being in my own experience. That will be more layered or less layered depending on what I'm doing, but you can consent to being in your own energy, consent to sending energy back to its original source. So energetic hygiene is huge, huge, huge. Being mindful of your energy. The third is emotional processing. I think this is so huge. Emotional processing is going to benefit every area of your life, your expression, your truth, your sexuality, your pleasure, your body, like your friendships. It's just huge. So journaling, therapy, voice notes to name and release emotions instead of storing them is really helpful. Writing notes in your notes app is really helpful, but processing your emotions, not being stuck there, but processing through emotions, feeling all the way, letting things go, keeping things moving. The fourth is trauma-informed movement. So exercise that feels very safe to the nervous system is really beautiful, like walking, yoga, dance is really nice. Avoiding extremes here. I've also completely changed my workouts in the past year. So before I was doing classes all the time, I was like all over the place, just running from class to class in tons of people's energy, in tons of loud music. And now I just lift and walk. So I've been lifting for a year now. It's transformed my body as well. I talk about that in the program, but it's been really, really helpful because it's slower, it's gentler. I don't listen to music or I listen to gospel. It's more peaceful and it's more meditative than crazy workouts that make my body and nervous system not feel safe. So the fifth is food as support, not punishment. So eating for nervous system stability, eating for grounding, eating for body love, having balanced meals with blood sugar regulation, and avoiding extremes. If you're not eating enough, your body is going to try and hold on to things. It's going to be stressed. It's going to be overwhelmed. And if you're overeating, it's going to feel sluggish and tired. So finding that beautiful balance of eating food that feels really good for you, feels really nourishing for you. And I've really loved balancing my blood sugar. Glucose goddess Jessie is one of my best friends, deeply important to me. And her work is just profound on my life, profound on so many people's lives. And as someone that's very sensitive, I didn't realize how much sugar was impacting my moods, my energy, my emotions. And so that being supportive of a stable baseline for my emotions and my feelings and my thoughts has changed how I experience the world and then my body as well. So using food as support for you in your process, but not a punishment. So the last thing that I'll share is just inviting us to think about what your body is protecting you from. You can put your hand over your heart and just say, body, what are you protecting me from? Body, what are you trying to tell me? Body, what are you holding on to? Body, what emotions and energies do you have that aren't yours? Body, how are you keeping me safe? Body, am I safe? And just starting a really beautiful, curious conversation with your body about how it feels, about the energy, about things that it's storing or holding on to. I was having a conversation with a client yesterday, and she's going through her own health journey and was talking about her body. And I was like, I'm curious if you're holding on to any resentment. And immediately she goes, yep, my mom was this, my dad was this, and this is happening. And if we think about that, our body is listening and holding on to this experience of this emotion and resentment. So we can even get curious about what emotions and feelings are we holding on to that we need to process, release, and let go of. So starting a conversation with your body is a really beautiful practice. You could even, have the journal prompt of, if my body could speak about the weight it carries, emotional or physical, what would it say? For me, I've had a lot of sexual trauma in my life, and I think a lot of it was protecting me from that, or a lot of it was protecting me from people in my life that I didn't feel safe around. So I kind of had to get curious and work through that, just as an example, a little vulnerable share. But asking your body, if my body could speak about the weight it carries, emotional or physical, what would it say? And reminder that your body is not the enemy. Everything that your body does is trying to support you in being its healthiest, brightest, most vibrant self. So if you're holding on to weight, there's likely a reason for it. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to communicate to you. It's trying to do its best. Whether the reason is rooted in protection, in safety, and in love, it is doing its very best by you. So when we can support our sensitivity and release what's not ours, our bodies can finally feel safe to let go of the weight, of the energy, of the emotion, of the experience. My desire for you is to feel at home and at peace and free in your body and feel sexy and beautiful and liberated and spend your life in your purpose, not trying to lose weight. So I have the Metamorphosis Method, which is my signature program. I've ran it for 3 seasons now. It's going to be running again in January, and I keep it open to 50 people. It is a small group container where it is completely transformative for your life and your body. Women have lost up to 20 pounds. Women have, felt free in bikinis. Women have felt free around food. Women have changed their relationship with food, their relationship with their mom, their relationship with emotions. It's just my favorite thing. So we'll be going through the mother wound. We'll be going through empaths and sensitivity. We'll be going through pleasure and sexuality. We'll be going through our relationship to feelings. It's just so deep. And then we also have the support of Joy Wellness, which is the peptide company I know and love. They do beautiful blood work. They support people with supplements and peptides. And it's just the really helpful tactical part for you in your process. So it's Krista.com. It's ITSKRISTA.com to find the Metamorphosis Method. To sign up now, we have early bird pricing. You can sign up now. It's Krista.com, the Metamorphosis Method to transform your body by transforming your mind. I love you guys. You can find me on Instagram at It's Krista. So it's ITSKRISTA. I would love to connect with you there. I would love to see you at a retreat. I'm doing retreats this year. I do retreats every single year. They're stunning and beautiful at 5-star locations with really dope women. And I just appreciate being a part of your process. I appreciate you trusting me. I appreciate you being in my life. It truly means the world that I can be myself and I can connect with amazing people like you. I love you so deeply. I will see you soon. Thank you for listening to Almost 30, subscribing, rating, and reviewing, almost30.com, Almost 30 podcast on Instagram. Bye.